program helps our visibility with Microsoft sellers, which in turn helps us when we're introduced to new partners.
It has accelerated our entrance into new markets, and our product is developing with higher quality and at higher speed than it would otherwise have.
Things like ISV licensing, handling our licenses just like any Microsoft first-party applications. We see that as a big benefit.
What ISV Connect program introduced is very different level of confidence with our customer. And with Microsoft expanding the program, we are expecting to grow our ISV portfolio significantly.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another installment of ISV Connect Live. My name is Brian Galicia, and I lead our global Dynamics ISV business here at Microsoft. And it's an honor and pleasure to have a repeat guest speaker, Brenda. And for those of you who have not met her, she's someone we work super closely with because she's our partner technology strategist that helps our ISVs with all things related to effectively building IP on the BizApps Dynamics Power Platform. So with that being said, Brenda, welcome to the show. I think the one thing before we get started is just like anything, if you've never watched these events before, we do these every Monday. And this is a unique one because it's not necessarily an ISV because Brenda works at Microsoft. This is an opportunity for Brenda to really share with our ISV community some amazing innovation that's been occurring that either if you're an existing ISV already in Dynamics and AppSource, or you might be one that comes across this going, I never really thought about being a Microsoft Dynamics partner, especially an ISV. This is an event that really is going to hopefully allow you to understand some of the amazing innovation we've had. So during the event, we'd love to watch or hear where you're watching from. So if you're watching from, let's say, Wisconsin, or doing this from Wisconsin, where Brenda is from, or Seattle, or Europe, or Asia, or anywhere in between, we'd love to have you just comment in the LinkedIn window where you're watching from. We'll do a quick shout out at the very beginning. And the second is that when we hosted Brenda, this was a few months ago, this is a very interactive session. So if you listen to something that she's sharing about best practices of innovation that you can leverage, feel free to ask it in the LinkedIn window, and we hopefully will have time to ask those questions in real time. So without further ado, Brenda, again, welcome to the show. Thank you for making the time. And then why don't you just, again, give an intro to yourself, and then rather than saying, because you've already shared what's one thing on your LinkedIn profile, I'm going to change it up a little bit and say, what's your favorite movie of all time that you've watched? So maybe we could start with that.
Sounds good. Thanks so much for having me on, Brian. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Brenda. I'm a partner technology strategist at Microsoft. And in my life before Microsoft, I was still all about Microsoft. I was a Dynamics 365 and Power Platform architect for many years. And so favorite all-time movie. I'm purely saying this or sharing this based on how many times I've watched it. As a child, I was obsessed with the movie Grease with John Travolta. So it has to be like pretty high up there on my favorite movie list. So I'll go with Grease today.
Oh gosh, I love it. I mean, old school. That is. I mean, the amount of other spin-offs from that. All those things. Yeah. I mean, what was it? Not the Thunderbirds. What was the group they had with the jackets? I think that's right. Yeah. Oh, it was the Thunderbirds. Okay. You're challenging me. I'm like,
I'd have to go back and probably rewatch it. It's been a few years, but yeah.
And the musical or the types of music that was on it. Yeah, definitely a long-standing thing that I think a lot of people relate to. Yeah. So before we get started, Brenda, let me do a quick shout out to people that have joined here. And so for some reason, LinkedIn actually does this occasionally. So Chris, thank you for watching. Chris is from one of our global ISVs, Xevo. So thank you for making the time. And he's watching from the UK. So even though it says LinkedIn user, I'm not sure why it does that. But Chris, thank you for making the time. We have Gajendra. Hopefully I'm saying that right. It looks like, I don't know if you know him, Brenda, but thank you for watching from Chicago. Yes, Pink Ladies. Thank you, Chris. That was definitely the case. And then Dustin, thank you for watching, of course, just in our backyard here in Washington. So why don't we go ahead and get started, Brenda? So when you think about the topic of 5 scenarios or solutions that ISVs, especially BizApps ISVs, should be thinking about, or things that latest innovation, why don't we just start from there and have you describe the things that ISVs really can take advantage of in the latest innovation wave of Dynamics?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to take one step back. And Brian, what I wanted to share was we have these massive release notes basically twice a year that we share out. And I feel like if you're not living, eating, breathing everything Dynamics 365, it's a little bit hard to digest sometimes, like just the number of features that specifically our partners can leverage. So I actually enjoy reading them because I used to have to do that a lot as an architect to see how I could best serve my customers. And now I just put on a little bit of a different perspective, and I try to understand, all right, from the point of view from a partner, what do these features really mean from our partner's perspective? How can they leverage them, and what can they use to start building and scaling and creating more quickly? So if it's okay, I'm actually going to share a deck. I promise it's super short, just a few slides to go through to highlight some of my top favorite features from Power Platform release. And then we'll get into a quick demo of 2 of my favorite features. Does that sound good?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's great. And then for, again, people watching, if you have questions as Brenda's going through this, feel free to put in the LinkedIn window. We will potentially, hopefully address them towards the end.
Okay. Bear with me 1 second here. Brian, could you let me know if you're able to see my PowerPoint deck?
I can. I see the stream, but why don't you switch it to, before I flash it up here, why don't you switch it to PowerPoint first, and then I'll put it on the screen.
Did it work? Sorry.
That's okay. We see the screen if you want to switch over to PowerPoint. Yeah.
Okay. I do have PowerPoint up, so let me retry that. Apologies.
Yeah, that's okay. No problem.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, of course it works before, right?
Yeah, that's right. There we go. Here we go.
Okay.
Perfect. Great.
So again, we're just going to look at the top 5 new updated features that I think are super meaningful for partners. So the first one that comes top of mind is Express Design with Figma. Why I love this feature so much is we can have our teams actually doing what they do best. And what I mean by that is we can have our marketing and UX team really design a beautiful mockup in Figma. And within a few clicks, that can then be translated to a Canvas app. So it's pretty incredible. And I think what's awesome about this is not only how quickly you're able to actually build something like a Canvas app, but all those requirements, those technical requirements, they don't get lost in translation, right? You are visually able to 100% see and understand what our product and marketing teams actually want to bring to life, and then quickly actually get it into a technical tool like Canvas app to breathe life into it. So I'll actually show this example today. Really excited to share it with you guys. Power Pages and Cloud Flows. So both of these things existed before, but now they have just a very unique partnership, basically. So we're able to call Power Automate flows from our Power Pages, whereas before it was a little bit more difficult to do that. Basically, why I think that this feature is specifically important for partners is because there's no reason for you not to have a Power Page. So if you already have an existing solution in Dynamics 365 and you want to extend these capabilities for your customers, a Power Page is a great way to surface that up. And you have all the automation that maybe you already have in an existing solution. We can extend that now more easily to Power Page. Copilot for bots. I talked a little bit about this in one of our last sessions. I talked about the boost functionality. So Power Virtual Agents or bots have just been supercharged basically within the last few months. And this is incredible because there's not many companies that couldn't leverage some sort of Power Virtual Agent. And really what we're doing and our product teams are doing such an excellent job of is they're using Azure OpenAI and things like Copilot to make the creation of a Power Virtual Agent so incredibly easy and fast. And I can, contest to this firsthand. It used to take a really long time to actually set up a very good Power Virtual Agent. And now with Copilot breathing life into it, it is so quick. You're going to see firsthand how quickly you can actually create like a topic tree and bring your Power Virtual Agent to life. Sequential approval. So again, this is another feature that has existed for a while. Approvals within Teams has existed. But now we have this concept of a sequential approval. You can think of like an approval tree. So maybe you're working on some sort of contract, right? And that contract needs to go to finance, and then it needs to go to product, and then legal, and different people need to sign off on it. Well, they've made it super easy now with sequential approvals. And I think that this is a really cool and interesting use case for our partners because they know their specific niche or industry better than anyone. And there's probably like a common process that, something like a healthcare claim or a legal document would go through. They're going to know that approval process best, and they can actually create like an approval template or be able to, supercharge their existing solution with sequential approvals. So I think this one's really unique too, and I'm excited to see and hear from our partners to see if this is something they're using. And then generate expressions from examples. As someone who used to create a lot of cloud flows, you get stumped sometimes. Even though it's a low-code solution, rather a low-code solution, Power Automate, there's sometimes you need to, format dates and times in a particular way. And so this generate from example actually just helps bridge that gap and it really easily makes you able to generate your results in the exact format that you need. So I think this is great because it really helps citizen developers and you don't have to lean on your technical team to do as much work. Okay. At the end of this deck, I also have some resources, so I'll share these links actually in the chat, but I want to dive into the demo really quickly. So give me 1 second to just shift screens here.
Yeah, while we're waiting for that, Brenda, thank you for doing that in these top 5 scenarios. And just to reinforce it, these 5 scenarios across Figma, Power Pages and Cloudflow, Copilot for Bots, Sequential Approval, and Expressions, Generate Expressions. These are all new innovations that have occurred since the our Wave 1 release that occurred back in March, April timeframe.
Yeah.
Correct? Okay, fantastic. Love it. Okay, so let me switch back over here because I think you're sharing your new screen. Perfect. There you go.
Awesome. All right, so I'm going to do an express design from Figma. And I'll show you what the Figma design looked like too, if you're interested. But sorry, I have to copy just a few details here to bring this Figma to life. Let's see. All right. We're going to give it just a second. So I have a Figma design open on another page. It's pretty basic. It's basically Breads by Brenda. And so I threw in a few different icons and images. And basically, we're going to see it come to life in Canvas in just a second here. So you can see I didn't do much other than create my Figma. And this is actually exactly what it looks like. So the shopping icons, the home icons, they all come in here, the headers, different images, and it's pretty cool. And it was really quick. So again, this is one of those features where really your teams can just do what they do best. And so what that means is your product and marketing team, they're probably living in Figma, right? To mock up designs and, create new products. And then they can easily pass that over to the technical team without there being anything lost in translation, right? To create very quickly a beautiful Canvas app. All right, I will shift over to my second one, which is leveraging Copilot. This is the Copilot for bots. So I've already created a Copilot. I now want to actually go ahead and add some topics here because my bot is blank. So if you go to new topic and create with Copilot, I'm just creating a pizza ordering bot.
And as you're doing that, Brenda, we still see the Figma.
Oh, do you? Okay. Let me make sure. Hold on. Sorry about that.
That's okay. I love the segue because for those of you who didn't watch the show that I had with Brenda several months ago, one of the things that was not on Brenda's LinkedIn profile is the fact that her family and she's exposed to baking.
All right. I'm going to share again. Let me know, Brian. Can you see my test bot now?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I really didn't do much in that 1 second that I was talking off screen. So I have my chat bot. It's going to be a pizza ordering chat bot. Right now, it's completely blank. So I'm going to go ahead, go to topics, and we're going to use this new Copilot feature to actually create the topic hierarchy. So order pizza. And actually, there's some really nice examples here. So if you see this within Copilot, it says, let someone order a pizza, choosing from common pizza types and how they want to order. So you can adjust your topic here. You can add in different content. This is what's Copilot's leveraging, is that natural language. So whatever is in here is actually going to surface within the tree. It'll take just a second or two, but we'll see it. All right, so on the right-hand side now, you see from my Copilot actually created the trigger, which is, hey, based on all these phrases in my chatbot, how can I order pizza? What kind of pizzas do you have? It will surface all these questions, and it generated all of this incredible content for me. I didn't have to do anything. Now you can still still go in and make adjustments, but Copilot actually just very quickly generated all of this for us. So it really helps partners and customers scale and build so quickly. Any questions?
Yeah, that's amazing. How quickly the fact that it took you ordering the order pizza as the input, and then it automatically built all those things behind the scenes to create a starting point. That's pretty powerful on how much time saving that was. And this is pretty good. I mean, from the logic that it figured out just by you entering in ordering pizza.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. And there's a whole bunch of stuff actually Microsoft just launched around MS Learn around prompt engineering and how to create a good prompt within Copilot. But this is a great fun way to start testing this kind of stuff. And I think it's going to be really helpful for partners because they want to use features like this, but sometimes they just don't have quite the capacity or enough resources internally to dedicate time to doing this. And we're making it easier than ever before to pick this up.
That's great. So when we think about any of the other ones, I assume those are were you wanting to cover any of the other examples on, I guess, Power Pages, Cloudflare? Is there any other things you wanted to showcase?
No, I can share some videos at the end of this session, though, if that's helpful for some of our other partners to see. Yeah, those were the two main ones that I wanted to showcase today.
Okay, fantastic. So when you think about all 5 of those innovations to people watching, again, we truly appreciate Brenda coming on board because really to provide the demystification, because when you look at the release notes, as Brenda mentioned, it's not a 1 hour read. It is a huge, granted, it's very comprehensive, but really, as we do these moving forward, we love the feedback. So if you find that this kind of format works super well, we actually are working closely with Brenda and some of her peers so that when these types of innovations come out, whether it comes out through our release notes, comes out maybe at Build, and I'm just kind of teasing that out because that's something that we're looking for potentially having as a next guest host is one of Brenda's peers to actually talk about some of the innovation that came out at Build, because you can imagine what was the one main topic, biggest topic that came out, which is we just covered, is AI and bots and Copilot and Azure OpenAI and all those types of things. So those are things we'll probably definitely address, but I'm just looking at the feed, and thanks, Chris, for the comment. So this is a comment from Isabel. Super cool. Thank you for walking us through it, and you're welcome. This was really an opportunity for us to kind of showcase some high-level things, just to tease it out there. And so what next step-wise, Brenda, when you think about, besides you going back into the LinkedIn feed and sharing some of the resources, what would be, again, reinforcement to if an ISV came across this and goes, oh my gosh, this is amazing. What would you recommend for people to kind of continue to learn more and engage as next steps?
Yeah, well, I think there's a few different things. So one, I would definitely recommend if you're an existing partner that you have a solution and maybe like a sandbox environment, turn these preview features on. Make sure that you have an updated version of Dynamics and Power Platform so that you can actually start to play around with this in your development environments. If you don't, and you've been thinking about or wanting to become a Microsoft partner, and this resonates with you and you feel like you could build a meaningful solution with some of these things, then I just definitely encourage you to spin up a trial environment and start testing and building. And then, of course, obviously reach out to Brian or I if you need help with any of those things. But I think that that's really important. And then trying to stay up to date on all of these different features. I know it's tough, but as much as you can, because these features, yes, they're built for customers, but our ISVs are, directly working with customers. You guys have the expertise in your niche, in your solution, in your area, and you can bring so much value to your customers by leveraging some of these brand new functions.
I love it, Brenda. I'm going to flash up in here. I know that all the sites and the articles you'll put in the LinkedIn window, they all derive from this website, learn.microsoft.com. And so even if you just typed in some of those things, Figma, sequential approvals, Power Pages, Cloud Flows, expressions, or Copilot for bots, if you did a quick search, it will actually appear, but they're all hosted and sourced from learn.microsoft.com. And as Brenda mentioned, because we're doing this on LinkedIn, if this piqued your interest and you're wanting to learn more, of course, reach out to either Brenda or myself as well, and we can definitely put you in the right spot to continue to learn more. With that being said, is there any other things you want to make a final comment on, Brenda, before we wrap up the show?
Just to watch out for the next technical session with Jason. I think he'll be leading. He's going to be doing like a recap from Build and Inspire, and it's going to be a lot of great content for partners. So watch, keep that on your horizon.
Yeah, I love it. I love it, Brenda. Yeah, so we'll probably have Jason on. I'm trying to look at the schedule now that we're getting close to, if it's hard to believe, it's getting close to the end of Microsoft's fiscal year. We're going to start July. We already have a full book of shows all the way through end of June and in July, but we'll figure out a slotting for Jason, Brenda's peer, to go through those specific topics. And again, I want to thank everyone for making the time to either watch this live or if you come across this replay. Definitely encourage you, if you want to learn more about the past shows we've done, especially with our ISVs, you could see down below in the little ticker symbol, aka.ms/ISV Connect Live, is really, it goes to the YouTube channel of this, and it really just summarizes and highlights all the amazing ISVs that we've had, including if you want to look at the show that we did with Brenda several months ago, it also was in there. And if you just want to type in her name, it'll pop up when you do a quick search. That being said, thank you so much, Brenda, for making the time to do this on a Monday. Thank you, River, for joining, and stay tuned for the next session next Monday. Take care, everybody. Thanks again.